welcome back to the SuperCoach AFL channel. In today's video, we're looking at the round 3 review of the AFL SuperCoach side. So as you can see on the screen, 21-24 this week. So it's about top third. Our season rank is still not fantastic. In fact, it went down a few thousand spots this week. So we might have to look at making some more moves. Excuse me. As we get the side up. So I won the head-to-head, but I think I was against a bloke who's not even really playing properly, so wouldn't worry about that. But start with the defence. So Sam Doherty, 87. Apparently got quite a lot of touches, just didn't use it the best, so that's okay. We can live with that. Dacos, 109. So we brought him in this week, and obviously that's the reason why. Potentially a keeper in defence for 500k. We love that. Jordan Ridley, so 96, which was above average, but would like a little bit more. Might be asking for too much, but I think we've got bigger issues than that at the moment, so we'll hold him. Jimby, so tunning up, that's amazing. So having someone like this that can swing between defence and midfield and score us some points is going to be really handy, I think, for the at least up until the buys. So not expecting to trade him out anytime soon. Jones with the 68. So obviously the 5 or 4 or whatever low score he got, that's out of his rolling average now. So he'll start to make some really nice cash for us. McKenna, 57. So obviously the wrong Brisbane Lions player to pick on the Thursday night, but no, that's all right. That's how it goes with the rookies sometimes. So Wilmot, he'll make some good money with that 69 in his average, and Cowan's doing all right with 51. Excuse me. So you can see I ended up captaining Bontempelli. So I think I had talked about initially looking to VC him and captaining Rowan Marshall. But then when I did my around the grounds video, I did the trades and forgot to reset the captain. So dodged a bullet in the end because Bontempelli did outscore Marshall, but obviously there's a few other options that would have been better picks as your captain. One of which being Josh Kelly, so I held on to him. Glad I did. He's 148. So yeah, really happy with that pick. Tom Green, another 100 flat this time, but that's really good. He's made some money, and he's going to push up in the right direction. James Warple, so the midfield trade we ended up bringing in. And when you look at, I guess, how Chandler went on the weekend, obviously that was probably not quite the right move. But as you can see, it probably would have left us a bit short in defense and in the midfield rather. So happy enough with the trade in terms of the position. But hopefully Warple can bounce back from that poor one. Jacob Hoppus obviously didn't play, but as you can see, I pulled the sneaky loophole. So I had the emergency on Oscar Baker, and he popped off 95. So I just dropped Hopper back into the team and took Oscar Baker's score. Finn Callahan, so another disappointing effort. It looks like, the high score he got in round 1 was just off the back of Kelly's concussion and need to, shuffle the pieces on the day. So probably going to trade him out, I think, this week. Look to make some more cash out of that position. Will Ashcroft, so he got a 80, which is, good for a cheapie. We'll take that. And McKenzie with 89. That's very good too. So Baker we talked about. Chester with 42. So that's his best for the season, but obviously he's not making a lot of cash in a hurry. And Constable didn't play. Jared Witt's 124. So I guess, this is probably the man we should be targeting with the C. 124 scored, 124 average. So I think that's going to be a big captaincy target going forward. And Rowan Marshall, so he was a little bit flat, getting 78. But that's okay. You know, everyone has a bad game once in a while. Radaglia, 47, so he's ticking along. Not made a lot of cash, 15k, so real slow burn, but you know, it's still better than having that dead sort of rookie. I think at this point in the season, um, and you know, if we ever do need a quick 90k, for example, he can always get traded down to that sort of loophole type option. And then forwards, Dunkley, 108. You know, he's just solid. He has dropped a little in cash, but averaging 110, so you can't complain about that. Connor Rosie, 126, so uh, his best performance for the year. Same with Taranto, turning up 112, so these two picks look pretty solid. As F1, F2, F3 rather. Goulden, so a little bit flat, but I guess, you know, you're sort of going to expect that from a player like that, so that's okay. We bought Zeeble in, so I guess, you know, out of the three picks we brought in, there was probably one good one in Dacos and two that were a bit disappointing. But, you know, I think Zeeble's still a good pick. You know, it's just, again, a few players all having a flat week at the same time. Didn't help our score. And then Sheasel, 120, gone up 110k or something like that. So that's a really awesome pick. Glad we had him from the start. Excuse me again. Davey with the 66, that's a pretty handy return for an emergency. But as you can see, our forward line is pretty stacked and could even be more so this week. And Green, 51, so I think that was his best score for the year so far. Answering it doesn't matter. Let that one go through the keeper. Yeah, so you know he'll make some cash, not quite as quick as some of his others, but that's okay. We can live with that, I think, for the time being. And yeah, so that's the team. In terms of the trades this week, I have a sneaky look at the early shouts. Yeah, so I guess there's a couple there I agree with. So the first trade that I'm thinking is Finn Callahan out. And then I guess looking at the break evens and who's on the bubble this week, the one that clearly stands out is Will Phillips. So we'll get him into the side. And so then that gives us 123k to play with, and there's a few options from what we can do from here. So we can either, you know, take someone like a Ridley or a Marshall and I guess correct those to say, well, let's have a look. If we take Ridley out and we'll go by the summary. So, you know, like we can afford a Sicily, we can afford Dawson, and I think we can afford anyone really. Sinclair was a bit flat on the weekend, which is a bit disappointing, but he'll dip in price. If we go by average, I'm pretty sure Tom, oh, it won't even show up by average. Tom Stewart went off, so we could get him in. What's his break even for this week? 161. So we could wait a week or two on that. So maybe we will just sit on that, but we do have that option. We also have the option of going Marshall out for a Tim English. Looks like the sort of R2 choice after Wits. Or some people would say R1. Or we could go the sneaky play of Brody Grundy. So, you know, he's about the same price. So it would be a sideways trade, but he's scored 143, which will be in his rolling average. He's got West Coast this week, who don't have a ruck unless Nick Nat's back this week. So yeah, he should smash that 75. So that could be a sneaky play to try and make some money. I think we'll avoid Darcy. He went well, but that was against West Coast. Yeah, so we do have that option as well. Or the other option is we could, you know, maybe get out of one of our flatter picks like a Chesser and chase some more cash. So if we just do the break evens and have a look who else we've got. So Noah Long's made some cash and could look to make some more. Harry Rouston, I've never heard of before, but he's got a negative break even. Ollie Hollins, he's already made a bit of cash. If we just swap Jimmy around to have a look at the defence, so this Jack Buckley, we can't quite afford him if we were to trade out Chesser, but say maybe a Cowan or something. So he's scored 390s and is still only in 3% of teams, so that could be a sneaky pod move. Oh, sorry, 290s and a 76. But perhaps, yes, it looks like, he's starting to break out just based on those scores. He's only sort of played most teams once, which suggests he's only young. um, or the other option, which is I guess the one I'm leaning towards, if we move Davey into the forwards, is to get in Chandler. So obviously we've missed out on his first 80k bump, but if we can foresee him getting to 350k, he'd still make us 150, and therefore would be a viable trading option. Big break even, playing the West Coast, so even if he is a bit more forward, there should be some points on offer there. Yeah, so like that's pretty consistent looking. Didn't play as many minutes, but obviously had impact, which is good to see. So what does this say he'll do? Price. It has him up, projecting up to 270. Interesting. So yeah, that could be the other option. I guess that negative break even does help. I'll just reset. Yeah, could get on someone like a Marty, but not quite sure what his role's like. Yeah. Could wait a week and just go with Van Ruin. And after he plays his second game, 89 is pretty good for the first one. Brockman as well looks like a little watch with 89 as well. And Samson Ryan doesn't look as good after that 27. Tyler Young, so bottom dollar defensive rookie. We've already got a lot of defensive rookies. We probably don't really need another. Yeah, after that, it's starting to get a bit higher in price. Probably not worth the trade. Yeah, so there is a few options. I think probably what I am leaning towards though is Chesser out, Davey into the midfield, because I guess the benefit of doing this move to the Chandler is that we now have that mid forward flexibility, which is going to be pretty handy, I think. So yeah, so there's the two trades. We could get a bit aggressive and use the boost as well, but yeah, whether it's to maybe sideways Jones or something to Buckley, something like that. Don't know what else could we do potentially. Radiclear wouldn't get there. Yeah, I think that's going to probably do for the time being. Or actually, maybe activate the boost, and because Marshall's going to have he's still got a decent break even. Yeah, he's still got that big 129 in his score, but I think yeah, if we're going to go a bit aggressive to try and take some steps up the ladder. So what do I want? Stats summary. Around 3 points and get Grundy in. So he did dip a bit in value, but that low round one score should be out now. Yeah, like I said, he'll carry this for the next couple of weeks, and with no Gorn, he's solo rucking. So, if he was doing that at the start of the season, you'd have him at that price. So let's do it. Let's burn a trade boost. Get back to an even number of trades as well, which is nice. So yeah, so that's I guess the thoughts on the trades. So in terms of the team and how it will shape up, it's that's all going to stay the same. I think it's all staying the same. Um, yeah, so got Wilmot there as the sub. That's fine. Oscar Baker, yeah, plays early enough, I suppose. Probably over those two. And yeah. So then it's just the captaincy. So when does Wits play? He plays in the middle. So VC, well, I think we have to see him because I don't really have a loophole. I don't think, unless Constable doesn't play again. Yeah, so they play at the same time, so that's not going to work out, is it? I guess. Well, I guess the VC plays before him anyway, so that's okay. So just having a look at the options. Probably the Bulldogs are playing too close. I guess the other thing too is that going away this weekend, so have to be Dunkley or Dacos. Yeah, let's run on Dacos. If he pops off, then he can be the yeah, we'll get Constable or something like that. Yeah, so it'll look something like that. I think Hopper should be back. And yeah. So anyway, that's the initial thoughts and the review of the team after round 3. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, notifications, all that other YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.